Hey, good morning, everybody. It's your host, Michael Rathburn here, aka Rath. You can find me on Twitter at Fantasy Rath. Back again with another DFS Minute this morning. We're going to hit you whenever there's some big industry news that we think that we can definitely give you some insight on. And we do have that again today with DraftKings and the Millionaire Maker, which did fill yesterday, and the tournament is now live. It's overseas, so it started, I believe, at 1:30 in the morning. Eastern Standard Time. I believe TV coverage started at 4 a.m. But let's kind of get into this incredible accomplishment for DraftKings and kind of my insight and my take as far as what I think is going to happen in PGA daily fantasy sports and what could happen in. Is PGA DFS now the #2 sport behind the NFL? There's definitely some arguments that could lead to that, and if it's not today, would it be in a year? So let's kind of get into it. DraftKings did fill their $3 million Millionaire Maker for this Open Championship, and like usual, they did post an additional tournament with the same price point called the 100,000 Maker or something along that line, but. Did come back and post another Millionaire Maker for I believe it's the PGA Championship coming up on August 13th, and bumped the prize pool up from 3.0 million to 3.3 million, and dropped the number of max entries down to 100. Now that did lead people to speculate that would only encourage multi-accounting. Yeah, that might be true, but I do have to give them credit for going ahead and do it. They did not have to do it, and they did. So definitely going to be interesting if guys only have 100 max lineups in that huge of a field. It's definitely going to open it up, and people are going to have to get more creative. Let's talk about pretty much. Let's get into let's talk about why I think PGA could be #2 already, or is poised to be #2 moving forward, possibly within the next, say 12 to 18 months. Is there's a lot of different reasons. Is number one, and this was kind of rumored at the FSCA conference in New York, is there's a strong possibility that FanDuel jumps into PGA in 2016. The amount of money that's out there in the market in PGA, you got to think that FanDuel is probably going to loosen their stance on the legality and jump in 2016. I'm sure they're feeling pressure from investors to say, hey, how come we're not doing this? Let's go ahead and push the button. Major companies giving coverage on the fantasy side to golf, ESPN, Yahoo, CBS, etc. I think when we start seeing those big companies start giving coverage like they have to daily baseball this year a lot more, obviously like they're going to be with football coming up, with more of a focus on weekly or daily. Once they jump into golf, that's going to help grow the market. So that would be #2. #3, I think there's a strong possibility of seeing some corporate sponsorships for actual contests, DFS contests. What I mean by that is, let's say DraftKings goes into 2016 knowing they're going to run 4 Millionaire Makers wrapped around the major tournaments. They can now go to potential sponsors and say, like a Callaway or an Under Armour or somebody like that, and say, Titleist, and say, we got an opportunity for you to get in front of a demographic that is prime for your market, and that is 25 to 35. Let's face it, we looked at the Eli's research study, huge percentage white male audience that spends money and is engaged in sports, engaged in your sport. What's it worth to you to sponsor our Millionaire Maker for the Masters? Maybe they get money that way, and that then opens up, the other piece of the Eli's research question that was out there in their survey. It said 88% of people were willing to watch a video if it meant they got a free entry, and I think that's coming. I think something along the lines of a corporate sponsor getting involved in a mega event like a Millionaire Maker with plenty of lead time, as they can post a contest way in advance, and wrap around some branding with that, and some activation, which is videos, surveys, capturing emails, things along that line. What would a company like Callaway pay for targeted users? Would it be $2? Would it be $5? And I don't know, but you could potentially have a situation where you earn money by entering into this Millionaire Maker, or you earn 25-cent tickets, $1 tickets, just for participating in surveys and things like that. And that's going to be huge. It may not mean anything to the big players and the big grinders, but what it is going to mean is it's going to grow the market, and that's what's key. So I think some of that might be coming, and that's a pretty big spec on my part, but I just think that, I think there's a big opportunity there. PGA gets involved, whether DraftKings does a deal with the PGA, or they do a deal with another company, or they start doing a game themselves. I think the PGA is going to get more involved in this. I think once the advertising blitz starts more, do we start seeing patches on golfers' jerseys? Do we start seeing somebody? Maybe there's going to be a PGA-sponsored golfer. That might be a situation. If somebody's wearing a DraftKings hat, a polo, could be a number of different things. I think that would absolutely make sense. DK logo on pin flags, advertising in golf magazines. I think those are all things that are in play. The nature of PGA DFS is it's a weekly event. You have plenty of time for research. It's not intense like baseball. There is quite a bit of PGA content out there, and it's a multiple-day event, which means you definitely are locked in for Thursday and Friday with a shot at playing on Saturday and Sunday, which I think guys like that as well. Coverage from places like the Golf Channel as far as tournaments go. Right now, not all of the days or rounds are basically, it's not 24/7 coverage, and I think that with the explosion of PGA DFS and the growth of the market, I think that there's going to be some expanded coverage of golf tournaments moving forward, probably next year, because all those TV schedules are in place already. But it wouldn't shock me in 2016 if we get to a situation where there's some premium golf packages possibly starting to be offered, like a DirecTV Sunday Ticket NFL. Don't be shocked if the PGA somehow gets a premium product in place for 2016 where they offer quite a bit of features, whether it's statistics, whether it's cameras, I think that that's coming, and I think the market's right. Now, whether it's on TV or whether it's on the net, wouldn't surprise me if it's on the net first. It's just easier to probably push it through that way, through that platform. But I think the PGA is going to jump in 2016 with some type of premium package that's similar to what the NBA and all the other major sports do. More innovation. I think the King of the Hill contest being brought over to the PGA, the Millionaire Maker being brought over to the PGA. I think you have opportunity for brackets. We have a live final now. The King's Cup has potential of coming over to the PGA, and also Survivor contests have potential coming over to PGA. So I think in whether it's the remaining part of this year or it's going to be, because once the Millionaire Maker goes off in August, we still have a few months of PGA. Now NFL will come into the limelight, but what are they going to do for PGA over, September, October, November? I know sometimes it shuts down. It's not totally full round, year, but I do think that we could have. We still have that live event coming in September, so just be on the lookout that maybe they're going to do something big to get people to keep playing. So, and then also I think one more thing that's going to come into play, and I think that there's going to be an influx of golf people. There's golf experts out there that don't play fantasy, and I think that more and more of them are going to start looking at PGA DFS and say, I can capitalize on my knowledge. I definitely know a couple of people that either played on the tour or run golf courses that have an immense knowledge of the game, and I think that can be tapped into. I think those people could be talent on DFS content sites, but I also think that they're going to start jumping in and playing. So I've given you about 10 bullet points about why I think PGA is going to explode if certain things happen. And that all leads up to me to say that I do feel that PGA right now is in line. I'm not going to say right now, but I think PGA is in line in the next 12 to 18 months to become the #2 sport in DFS. That's my take on the situation in the industry. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today, the DFS Minute. And baseball comes back on Friday, so we're getting pumped up for that. Enjoyed everyone's day today. And as we always say here at Road to Curve, stay classy, DFS.